إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل له فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله عز وجل وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلوات الله وسلامه عليه وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. My dear brothers, today will be a reminder for all of us to take into consideration in our hearts, as well as to relay to our family members and our tribesmen. Today we're going to focus on the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, while focusing on some of the mistakes we make while trying to adhere to the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The first thing we must understand is what is the meaning of the word Sunnah. What is the meaning of the word Sunnah? Sunnah lughawiyan, Sunnah according to the linguistic meaning, it is tariqah. It is the path, it is the way, the habit. So it is mentioned Sunnatullah wa Sunnatul Rasuli, the way of Allah and the way of His Messenger. It is not singled out only for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But I can say to you, ya akh, ya fulan, sunnatuk kida wa kida. I can say to you that you're my brother or stranger, your particular way is this way or that way. When we talk about the Sunnah in light of getting closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we're focusing on the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. According to the ma'na shara'i, the Islamic meaning, we will say the Sunnah هي اتباع. It is اتباع ما جاء عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أوامره ومن نواهيه. He said that the Sunnah it is following the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and that which he prescribed and that which he forbade. تشمل في الشرع كل ما جاء عن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم من أمور واجبة وأمور مستحبة وترك الأمور المحرمة وترك الأمور المكروهة. And it includes everything in Islam that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had forbid, and that you stay away from. You comply to everything that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have prescribed upon you, and that you follow to the best of your ability everything that it is from the preferable actions. And you stay away and far away from everything that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam have forbid, and everything to the best of your ability that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam disliked. You stay away from it to the best of your ability. And according to the scholars of Hadith, as Sunnah, it is a qawl Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wa fi'lihi wa taqriri. It is the speech of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His speech, what he told the people to do, and what he told the people, commanded the people not to do, what he forbid them from doing. His actions, something that he didn't do, but you saw from the actions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he stood away from something, he stayed away from something, or he implemented something. And by implementing something the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam did, in trying to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is from Islam. It is Islam. And a taqreeri, and the determinations or the decisions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that maybe he didn't speak about, but he saw something happen in his presence and he was quiet about it. And as a result of this, it became part of Islam. Before it was forbidden for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to be quiet about something that would have harmed our akhirah. Anything that would have harmed our hereafter, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to speak about it. And anything that would have profited our akhirah, our hereafter, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to speak about. So the fact that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam stood and remained quiet on certain things, it means that it was permissible. And if we see from the face of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if we saw from the face of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam redness and a frown, then we knew that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam disliked it. So it was from Islam to also dislike that thing and to stay away from it. If it is going to be something that is going to get us closer to Allah, or going to be something that would jeopardize our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the reality, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam, although we all fall short in following and implementing the Sunnah is the safety. The Sunnah is your life jacket. The Sunnah is your way for your salvation. For the Salaf كانوا يقولون السنة كسفينة نوح. They used to say that the Sunnah is like the ark or the ship of Noah. فَمَنْ رَكَبَهَا فَقَدْ نَجَحَ. Whoever had entered the ship of Noah, whoever had entered the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then verily he had reached success. He was saved. And we know what happened during the time of Nuh alayhi salam, and those who did not enter the ship. So this is like the Sunnah. If you enter it, you implement it, you make it part of your life, then you'll be saved. And this is also explained by the statement of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he said, "Taraktukum ala mahjat al-bayda." He said, I have left you upon a clear path. Laylaha kan-nahariha. He said, its night is like its day. That's how clear it is. That's how clear it is. He's talking about the Sunnah of his Sunnah. So whoever holds on to the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he'll be successful. It is not something that a person should feel embarrassed about. It is not something that a person should feel ashamed about. When we ask people to sit down and study in the class, they have no time. We ask people to love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everyone said they love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When you ask the people, how much do you know the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam? It's impossible to love someone you don't know. And this is where we fall short in our ibadat. We fall short because we don't truly understand Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His qadr. So we fall short in understanding the preordainment of Allah. We fall short in understanding the wisdom of the creation of Allah. We also fall short in understanding the benefits and the wisdom of the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And we have even reached the point where we said, that's for 1400 years ago. As if after the first 3 generations of Islam, the Sunnah stopped. And after the first 500 years of Islam, the Sunnah stopped. And we don't have to apply it and implement it anymore. We know this is a false reality. And it's only a trick from Shaitan to lead us closer to the hellfire. But once we start to shim away at the religion, now it's the Sunnah, then it's the Sahaba, then it's the ulama. We don't take from the Sunnah, then we don't take from the ulama, and then we don't take from the Sahaba. Then what of Islam do we have left? What of Islam do we have left? Except that we leave. At that point we leave to be the measuring tool for appropriate and inappropriate. for halal and haram, for mustahab wa makruh, for that which is disliked and liked, our emotions and our desires. And then at that point it's as if your heart and your emotions is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is your Lord that you follow, instead of following the laws of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is where we fall short, my dear brothers and sisters in Islam. This is where we fall short in gaining closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is where we fall short in how we understand what Islam truly is. And this is where we fall short in practicing the Islam, not Islam. That is where we fall short. So people have become comfortable in their own skins, in their own ways, in their own understandings, as if they're practicing true Islam. And when you come to them and you tell them that this is incorrect, they say, La wallah, I've been doing this my whole life. Everyone in my village does this. Everyone in my tribe does this. Not realizing that everyone in your tribe could be incorrect. Everyone in your village could be incorrect. Your knowledge, the knowledge of your scholar could be incorrect. We weigh the opinions of individuals and human beings according to the Kitab and the Sunnah. We don't weigh the Kitab and the Sunnah according to the opinions of the people, of individuals. This is where we fall short, brothers and sisters in Islam. So when a person says to you, Ya akhi, I don't think this is correct. I don't think this is something that the Prophet ﷺ legislated. So what do you know? What do you know? And I relate to you the great story. When it was mentioned to one of the debaters, who loves to debate about Islam, who have no knowledge. And it was mentioned to him, it said, Imam Ahmed said this and this about this hadith. And he said, وَأَمَّا Imam Ahmed فَهُوَ رَجُلٌ كَأَنَا رَجُلٌ. Well, as for Imam Ahmed, he's a man like I am a man. But look at the caliber of this man, look at the caliber of you. And this is where we fall short, when we start to diminish. We start to diminish and take away and shimmy away from the people of knowledge and the true Islam and the true Sunnah. أقول قول هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم وسائر المسلمين فاستغفروه فإنه غفور رحيم. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا مباركا فيه والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما كثيرا. النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال: من يعيش منكم فسيرى اختلافا كثيرا. He said, and from amongst you, talking about the Sahaba, he said, and from amongst you, who lives a long life, will start to see great differences of the Ummah. How many sects have we divided into? How many times we separated? How many times we weakened our own ranks? We destroyed our own strength and our own platforms for knowledge and our own kingdoms and our own countries. We accepted democracy and we left Islam. We accepted democracy and we left the Sunnah. And then when you tell an individual democracy is what? What is democracy? He said democracy is the victorious way. Democracy is the way that, look at the West, look at the East, look at the difference. We say, brothers and sisters, it is an illusion. Democracy in itself is an illusion. It is a statement that putting the majority votes into the hands of the majority, putting the laws and legislations in the hands of the majority. What country does this in the world? What country does this? And the election of Trump shows this. It shows this. When Hillary Clinton won with over 200,000 votes, and where's 2 million votes? Where was democracy? A lie, an illusion. But that's not the point. The point now is we see how the ikhtilaf, the differences of opinion, affected the ideologies of the Muslims. We're going to talk about 2 points now. 2 points that some of the Muslims is very difficult for them to let go. 2 points. And the first point is in Mawlid Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They're celebrating the birthday of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Countries and cities and tribes have taken this as a virtuous action. A virtuous action. Villages, mashayikh, ulama, taken as a virtuous action. If it was a virtuous action, why didn't the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam celebrate it? If it was a virtuous action, why didn't Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, Umar bin al-Khattab, Uthman ibn Affan, why didn't the Sahaba advise us to celebrate it? Do we truly think that our mashayikh, that our loved ones, our parents, love the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam more than Aisha radiallahu anha, who was his wife? And she mentioned nothing about celebrating the birthday of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Fatima, his daughter, mentioned nothing about celebrating the birthday of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So we bring to us, I bring to you the argument that the ulama of the past they brought. They say, is there a deficiency in the religion of Allah? That the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala left something else? Didn't advise us to do something that was virtuous for us? Do we not say that the Islam is preserved? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us, He said He had preserved the religion. It's preserved, the kitab is preserved. Why didn't none of the Sahaba, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, those who came after them, none of them mentioned about celebrating the birthday of the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? Except that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what did he tell us? He said, don't do as to me what was done to the prophets who came before me. And that is the second point. But some have taken, by way of Mawlid, have taken not only the celebration of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam as an Islamic affair, which is an innovation, but have also taken the celebration of Isa alayhi salam and supposedly what we know as Christmas as a means of celebrating. Not paying attention that some of the Christians don't even celebrate Christmas. It's a paganistic belief. Nothing to do with any type of religion. Nowhere in the Bible, nowhere in the Quran, nowhere in the Torah mention anything about celebrating the Christmas or any other the birthday of any prophets. So we must ask ourselves, what are we doing? What Islam are we following? When we find that the Christians who celebrate Christmas, they're celebrating Christmas because they believe not that a prophet was born, but they believe that the only begotten Son of God was born on his day, and that he died and he came back, and his birth is a virtuous day. It's a virtuous day because he died for our sins. Na'udhu billahi min dhalik. Where is Islam in that statement? Where is Islam in that theology? So we must also ask, where is Christianity in that theology? Well, we find just how the Prophet ﷺ said. He said, you will follow the people who came before you, handspan, footspan. As if they were to go into the lizard hole, you would follow them into the lizard hole. And then the companions asked the Prophet ﷺ, and so are you talking about the Christians, Ya Rasulullah? He said, who else? We're not talking about they don't have any virtue with them. We're not talking about there's no merits in things that they do. What we're talking about is implementing something that you think is going to get you closer to Allah. Thinking that it's going to make you closer to the Sunnah Rasulullah. And there's not one ayah, wala hadith, and not one hadith, wala qawl salaf. None of the Sahaba were in agreement to this particular action. And then we are emotionally connected to something, thinking it's going to get us closer to Allah. La wallah, abadan. So a person may say, yeah, we don't have no parties, we don't have no cakes, we don't have no formal celebration. We only read Rahiq al-Maktoum. We only read the seerah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or we have 364 other days to read the seerah of the Prophet. Though we have 360 something odd days also to read the Sunnah, to find out and learn about the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So we reiterate that in order to get close to Allah, it must be something that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had advised us to do. And if you want to get further from Allah, if you want to do actions that will not be on our scales of good deed, we will innovate actions that will get us further from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and we will go into a more of a problematic state. For the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Man ahdatha fi amrina hadha ma laysa minhu fahuwa rad." Whoever innovates into this affair of ours, that which is not from it, it will be rejected.